Miami hosts Georgia Tech on Saturday. The Canes looking to go to 5-0. Georgia Tech comes in at 3-1. They're 1-0 in the ACC, and of course Miami perfect in the Coastal Division. Talking to Cam Underwood of State of the U to help set up the action. We talked about the highs of defeating Florida State, getting the monkey off the back a la Steve Young. Cam, the low of lows. So whether it's you or the other 25 or 30 bloggers and broadcasters I talk to on a fairly regular basis, so we go through the injury report. Once the season starts, especially you get 2 or 3 weeks deep, everybody's got injuries, and we run through the injuries. It's just kind of different with you because I don't know of anybody else. Well, I can clearly state there is no one else that I talk to that takes the pride in the football program and the university as a whole as you do. You don't speak negatively about any player, even if they're underperforming, as long as they're giving a solid effort. You give a solid and honest critique, but you speak of all them as in the family. And Mark Walton would be near the top of that list, I'm guessing, just based on our conversations many times about Mark Walton. I know that you really enjoy the young man. His play on the field and what he has brought to the university. So it's got to kind of hurt that he is missing this final season.
Yeah, and, like, I will say that, I'm critical of performance of players, even some that have been bad, just athletically, but I don't, hate them as people. And some of the Hurricanes fans are watching this. If you think about some of the safeties who have played in the recent past who have not been good, I wish them well as people, but as athletes in our athletic programs, maybe not the kind of performance that we want to see. But for Mark Walton, yeah, he was, when we did videos before the season and even on the website, I said that he was the most indispensable player on this team just because the depth at running back is slim to none behind him. And yeah, it hurts. He broke his leg in the fourth quarter of the Florida State game. On the same play, freshman starting guard Navon Donaldson sprained his ankle, and he's going to miss this week as well. So there's some other injuries that we can get to after Mark Walton. But yeah, losing Walton for the year is huge, just plain and simple. The focal point of the offense, Mark Richt offense wants to run the ball like you saw at Florida State. Even if it was not being successful, that's what a Richt offense wants to do. And Mark Walton was the best running back in the ACC. He was a top 10 running back in America, and he could do it all. He could block, he could run, he could catch. And I know people are going to look at his stats against good teams, but, when the offensive line is getting dominated by Florida State's defensive line, which is what happened, and credit to Florida State because they have an amazing defensive line, that's not going to leave room for him to run. And you could see early, even they put a clip on the broadcast before the game, pregame, Mark Walton was doing agility drills, and he's cutting off his right foot. Oh, it's sweet. He goes to cut off his left foot. Nothing like the smoothness of the right. Now, the thing is, he broke his right leg, or the tibia fibula, like on his leg, of the right leg. So he injured his good leg in the tackle where he got wrapped up, not the one that had previously been gimpy. Either way, that takes away just the center focal point of the offense from the Hurricanes. And, you want to see, I wish all the players well, obviously, but especially Mark Walton. He's been through a lot, man. His mother passed recently. Obviously, something that, when you lose family members that people have to deal with. And that's something that, obviously, he's had to struggle with. He was accused of sexual assault. Erroneously, by the way, 2 summers ago. Long story short, there was a police officer who was basically jealous of Mark Walton and then railroaded him into this false accusation thing. He basically entrapped Walton, allegedly. I don't know if entrapping was the word, but it came to pass that at the behest of the officer, through the young lady, Mark Walton went to her house like late at night because, she was texting him, but it was all the officer, and then he gets pulled over, and it's all this, this whole thing 2 summers ago. And that's terrible, like this, it really is. So he's dealt with that, losing parent, and all kinds of things like that. And, you really wish him well, and he's doing well. He's playing very strongly this season. Obviously started off very well, playing for an undefeated team, finally, leading this team to victories as he has. And losing him is going to hurt. Obviously the depth at running back is, it's very thin. To the point, Travis Homer, your backup running back, is now the starting running back, number 24. He's a true sophomore from West Palm Beach, Florida, Oxford Academy. and both Walton and Homer were playing kick coverage units because they're a team. It's like that Virginia Tech model from the 90s and 2000s. You put your best players, your starters, on special teams. Now Miami has to ramp back on Travis Homer playing special teams because he's the franchise now. He's starting running back. And it's going to be like that. So you have that going on. You have Trayon Gray coming back off of a knee injury towards ACL last year. He's your backup, or a backup. Robert Burns, who was a 4-star recruit, he's probably not going to be healthy enough to play this year because he's not even listed in the 4 players who were getting reps at that position this week in practice. Crispian Atkins is a new name for a lot of people, but he was a walk-on up until like Sunday, and he got put on scholarship, and he's now a scholarship running back because we only had 3 before that. Now we have 4, and actually 5 because DJ Dallas, who was an athlete in high school, i.e. he played many positions, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, kick returner, punt returner, and defensive back. He was at wide receiver earlier this season and even kick return and whatnot, but they moved DJ Dallas back to running back, and he played that kind of not option quarterback, but he did a lot of zone read stuff, a lot of option stuff in addition to throwing. And if you watch his highlight tape, his change of direction was really elite level. So I could see how that could translate into him playing running back full time. So you take a guy from wide receiver, you put him in running back. You take a guy, a walk on, and put him on scholarship. You got a guy coming back off of a knee injury, and then you got a sophomore who's never started before. Even though Travis Homer has great skills, he had a bunch of 80 and 90-yard touchdowns in high school. Kid can run. He's, you've seen him make tackles on special teams. He's 5'11", 195 pounds. He's chiseled. So, and he runs bigger than his size. If you've seen, the backup running back come in these games, he's lowering the boom to guys. He's running over people. So he has a amount of athleticism and physicality that you want to see. But, those are the 4 guys at running back now, absent of Mark Walton. So I think that the talent level is comparable, especially by bringing DJ Dallas from wide receiver to running back. But it's going to be interesting to see how, or if the offense, is different with Travis Homer as your number 1 back versus Mark Walton. And for me, it's really not at the starting level, Homer versus Walton. I think those can be comparable-ish. I think it's when the depth comes in, because I could trust Travis Homer as the number 2 running back, spelling Mark Walton for a series or a play. Now, if Homer goes out, I don't know. I hope that Trayon Gray is physically ready. He gets his pad level down. He's able to use his explosive speed at 6'2", 235, being arguably one of the fastest players on this team. Crispian Atkins, I've never seen him in game action, but he's a scholarship running back now, so maybe he makes some plays. DJ Dallas, he's a true freshman, moving positions. I don't know how much he's going to be able to contribute. So if Travis Homer has to come out of the game, and running backs will have to come out of the game for whatever reason, gets dinged up, helmet comes off, just needs a breather, something, I'm interested to see how the rest of the backs are able to play. And not just running the ball. You got to catch the ball. You got to pass protect, which Travis Homer is very good at. There's a lot of things that go into that position, and those guys are going to be thrown into the fire. So, it's a sad day, obviously, with Mark Walton missing the rest of the season with an injury, and we wish him the best in his recovery. We want to see, obviously, hopefully, these backup running backs step up to the task when it's their time.